Sharon Newman will recruit Alan Loran, alias Martin Loran, before Tracy Abbott laments over her worst mistake, according to the Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, March 26. Tracy at Crimson Lights will offer to be Sharon's confidant if she wants to talk about her ordeal. Sharon will accept Tracy's invitation, and they will meet down for coffee, while Sharon reveals plenty of kidnapping facts. After reflecting on the distorted voice playing mind games and appearing to have psychological field knowledge, Sharon will discuss how she nearly died twice with Phyllis Summers. Tracy will appear uneasy when she learns about the gas pumped at the clinic, because she will recall Alan's text about the gas expulsion halting. Sharon's account of all the precautions the kidnapper took will make Tracy apprehensive as well. There will also be talk of the captor being aware of Sharon's conflict with Phyllis and allegedly putting out an experiment to force them to reconcile. Since Alan assisted Sharon with her hypnosis, which led to Jordan and Ian Ward being apprehended, Sharon will imply that Alan may be able to assist with this case as well. Sharon will be hoping that Phyllis will join her therapy session with Alan, so that they may gain insight into the madman's psyche. Tracy will point out that Alan is currently in Paris, but Sharon will hope that he can help when he returns. Sharon will meet Phyllis, Summer Newman, and Nick Newman at the GCAC in the next episode of YNR, which airs Wednesday. Sharon will provide updates on her talk with Tracy and how Alan can help them. Sharon will eventually make a prediction that Alan may be the key to ending this ordeal. Claire Newman will wake up in bed with Kyle Abbott and worry out about being late for work. Kyle will encourage Claire to play hooky together and advise that she leave some of her belongings at the Abbott mansion after the renovations are completed. Although Claire will be concerned about lying to Nikki Newman, she will eventually give in and text her grandmother about a nasty case of clams. Kyle will text Jack Abbott the same fabricated story, so Jack can compare notes with Nikki at society. Jack and Nikki will recognize the young lovers simply want some additional alone time, so they will not ruin Kyle and Claire's fun. Nikki and Jack will also discuss how they can advocate for Claire and Kyle, as Victor Newman is fighting for their future. Claire will enjoy Kyle's large breakfast buffet and taunt him about being a terrible influence. Tracy will be on edge again at the cafe, leaving a voicemail for Alan about a publisher issue that is delaying her trip to Paris. Tracy will try to convince herself that what she is thinking is impossible. When Jack arrives and finds Tracy crying, she will urge him to convince her that she is not losing her mind and that she has not made the worst mistake of her life. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Tracy will soon reveal some unexpected news to Jack, so stay tuned. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman made the offer and is now patiently waiting. She has done all necessary to recuperate from 2 kidnappings. Nick Newman has been there for Sharon every step of the way over the last few months. He's been honest about his feelings for her and is thinking about restarting a relationship with her. But he has one huge concern. The prospect of this one-time couple reconnecting over 2 decades after their divorce has been worth watching. Will the slow burn buildup lead to another false hope scenario? Credit to Nick Newman for self-awareness. Nick was honest with both himself and Sharon. He expressed anxiety that if they reconciled, he would hurt her again. Sharon was very open about the instances that she did terrible things to him. It would be difficult to determine who the greater villain was. However, Nick's misdirected grieving trip into Phyllis Summers' arms resulted in irreconcilable differences, which led to their divorce in 2007. Pursuing love takes a leap of faith, as people on the other side of the screen understand. But is Genoa City, Wisconsin, the ideal place to live? Phyllis Summers' crisis is real. Phyllis and Sharon have just been through a horrific ordeal. Both almost died, but each saved the other's life. While Alan Loran did not intend for the double kidnapping to bring Phyllis and Sharon peace, it did. That is good, with the caveat that Alan could be his presumed dead brother Martin Loran. Sharon is abduction tough, which means her many kidnapping narratives have toughened her, and she appears to be doing well. However, Phyllis appears to be struggling. Nick's desire to assist her may hinder him from completely considering the choice Sharon has presented. Vacation jump starts revival in Genoa City. Ideally, Nick will assist Phyllis and agreed to Sharon's request. She invited him to accompany her and their daughter, Faith Newman, to visit their son, Noah Newman, in Europe. A soapy tie-in to the Loran brothers' narrative would allow Sharon to confront her kidnapper, with Nick providing assistance. Sharon may not need to kill Alan or Martin, as Camryn Kirsten did, but she could play an important role in his revelation or capture. The aforementioned, combined with Sharon and Nick's knowledge that their love story is about to be revived, would be better than good soap. This would be a memorable daytime drama. Here's hoping these characters are written to reconcile and marry, so that their past no longer defines them. Nope. Nothing on The Young and the Restless could have been more bizarre than this. As the month of March came to an end, news spread that Beth Maitland had died. Only the conversation was more than idle. It was malicious. And why? The Emmy winner herself laughed at the nonsense, turning to social media to inform her admirers, which are legion, "Thank you very much, that the rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. Shame on those who have nothing better to do than exploit others. Get a life." That is absolutely correct. The actress, who has played Tracy Abbott on and off since 1982, is not only alive but also immersed in a front-burner tale. Sure, it's not the epic romance we'd like for her character. Fiancé Alan has turned out to be a terrible maniac, but we're glad to see her portrayer shine. That is absolutely correct. The actress, who has played Tracy Abbott on and off since 1982, is not only alive but also immersed in a front-burner tale. Sure, it's not the epic romance we'd like for her character. Fiancé Alan has turned out to be a terrible maniac, but we're glad to see her portrayer shine. The intersection between actual and fictional existence is where things get complicated. Because Tracy is about to marry a crazy nutcase, we have every reason to be concerned that she will follow Alan's identical brother to death. Will Jack and Tracy's loved ones be able to keep her safe, or will she succumb to her sweetheart's madness? Diane's deception. Do renovations hide Alan's sinister secret? According to rumors from The Young and the Restless, Diane Jenkins Abbott has been refurbishing the home. However, no one knows exactly what those plans are. It's enough that the family is staying at a motel. However, with Alan Loran reportedly flying to Paris and Diane keeping up appearances, might this all be connected? Continue reading, and let's discuss the options. Mysterious Abbott renovations. Fans are aware that Diane has been working on modifications to the Abbott manse for several weeks now. Initially, Jack Abbott was scared of what Diane would do to the house. After all, Jack wanted everything to remain exactly the same. Diane claimed it would only be minor alterations. But why does everyone have to stay in a hotel? It appears that many scenes are being used for the Abbott refurbishment. There are repeated discussions about it. They're making a big deal about such a boring storyline. Could this mean that there's more to it than meets the eye? Jack Abbott's total trust. In the beginning, Jack expected to know everything about the refurbishment plans. Then Diane bore him to tears with wallpaper swatches. Perhaps Diane did this on purpose, so she could focus on her genuine goal. In any event, everyone has questioned Jack's faith in Diane for this refurbishment. At first, I assumed this was ordinary soap character behavior. However, there could be more to it than that. On Wednesday, March 26, 2025, The Young and the Restless spoilers revealed that Sharon Newman unwittingly helped solve a mystery. Diane Jenkins Abbott covered the story. Sharon's revelation regarding the double kidnapping made Tracy Abbott concerned that Alan Loran is not who he claims to be. Then, spoilers for Thursday, March 27, 2025, reveal that Diane covers. What exactly does Diane need to conceal? She has only been working on the mansion's redecoration. The timing of Tracy suspecting Alan of being Sharon and Phyllis Summers' kidnapper is also interesting. So maybe these narratives are interconnected. Alan Lawrence's next experiment? Fans recall that during the double kidnapping, the distorted voice made it plain that it was only an experiment. Alan/Martin failed to kill the test subjects, but that is not relevant to this essay. What matters is that Alan/Martin assured the prisoners that it was nothing personal, despite knowing intimate information about their lives. Alan/Martin also stated that it was simply an experiment and nothing more. So might Alan and Martin be prepping for the real thing? That is precisely what it sounds like. Alan stated that he needed to go to Paris for a few days to plan a surprise. However, Alan may not have left Genoa City at all. Maybe Diane's tiny changes to the renovations conceal Alan's horrible secret. Will Tracy become confined behind the confines of her own home? Regarding Diane's motivation, I do not believe she is malevolent. I believe Diane has many secrets from her background that she desperately wants to keep buried. That alone could persuade Diane to assist Alan. But what if she doesn't comprehend how far he is willing to go? Diane's deception. Renovations hide Alan's sinister secret? The old Victorian house on Holloway Lane had stood abandoned for years, its peeling paint and sagging porch a testament to neglect. But when Diane and Alan Mercer moved in, the neighborhood buzzed with curiosity. The couple seemed perfect, charming, wealthy, and eager to restore the decaying mansion to its former glory. Diane, a poised interior designer with a warm smile, assured the neighbors that the renovations would be tasteful. Alan, a quiet but polite architect, spent his days sketching blueprints and overseeing construction. At first, everything appeared normal. The sound of hammers and saws filled the air, and the house slowly transformed. But then the whispers began. The first strange occurrence. Mrs. Henderson from across the street was the first to notice something odd. She swore she saw Alan carrying heavy black bags into the basement late at night, long after the contractors had left. When she mentioned it to Diane the next morning, the woman merely laughed it off. "Oh, Alan's just a perfectionist," Diane said with a dismissive wave. "He likes to work odd hours. You know how artists are." But Mrs. Henderson wasn't convinced. Neither was Jake, the teenage son of the Wilsons, who claimed he heard strange thumping sounds coming from the house when no one was supposed to be inside. Diane's odd behavior. As the weeks passed, Diane became increasingly withdrawn. She canceled coffee dates with the neighbors, claiming exhaustion from the renovations. Her once bright eyes now held a hollow look, and she flinched at sudden noises. One evening, Carol from the book club stopped by unannounced with a casserole. Diane answered the door, her hands trembling. Behind her, Carol caught a glimpse of Alan in the hallway, his expression cold, his sleeves rolled up to reveal dark stains on his forearms. "Sorry, now's not a good time," Diane said quickly, shutting the door before Carol could ask questions. The basement. The final clue came from Tom, one of the contractors. He had been hired to install new flooring in the basement, but was abruptly fired after asking too many questions. There was something off down there, Tom later told his buddies at the bar. Alan insisted on doing all the concrete work himself. And the smell. God, it was like something rotting. When pressed, Tom admitted he had seen a locked door in the basement, one that wasn't on the original blueprints. The truth unfolds. One stormy night, the power went out on Holloway Lane. A loud crash echoed from the Mercer house, followed by a scream. Neighbors called the police, who arrived to find Diane standing in the driveway, drenched in rain and blood. Inside, officers discovered Alan's body at the bottom of the basement stairs, his neck broken. But the real horror lay behind the locked door. The walls were lined with newspaper clippings of missing persons, all young women who had vanished over the past decade. And beneath the freshly poured concrete floor, forensic teams would later uncover the remains of at least 5 victims. Diane's secret. At the trial, Diane's defense was simple. She had no idea. She claimed Alan had manipulated her, that she was just as much a victim as the poor souls buried beneath their home. But the prosecution had evidence. Emails between Diane and Alan discussing renovation costs, in cryptic terms, bank transfers to fake contractor names, and most damning of all, Diane's own journal. "Alan says we have to be careful now," one entry read. "The walls have ears, but the foundation is solid. No one will ever find them." The jury didn't buy her innocence. Epilogue. The house on Holloway Lane was demolished, the land deemed cursed by the town. Some say that on quiet nights, if you stand where the basement once was, you can still hear the faint sound of hammering, as if Alan is still working, still hiding his sins. And as for Diane, she sits in a prison cell, staring at the walls, waiting, wondering if the next renovation will uncover even darker secrets.